The stars no longer felt like the vast, endless sky they once were. To Derek Stone, they were just the cold, distant backdrop to a galaxy that had been torn apart by an alien empire. Once, Earth had been the proud center of humanity's power. But now, Earth was gone, destroyed in a brutal invasion that had wiped out most of its population. The few survivors were scattered across the galaxy, enslaved or forced into hiding. Derek had once been a soldier, a hero in his own right, someone who believed in protecting the people he loved. But that was before everything changed. That was before the aliens came. He remembered the day the alien ships had arrived over Earth's skies. The terror, the chaos. His home, his family, his friends, his entire world destroyed in a matter of hours. He had watched helplessly as the invaders turned his home into a war zone, cities reduced to ash, millions dead in the blink of an eye. Derek had barely managed to survive, only to be left with the painful truth. There was nothing left for him. Now he was just one man, a broken soldier with nothing left to live for. A man who no longer cared about living, only about revenge. He had nothing to lose. Nothing to fight for except the one thing that still burned inside him, the desire to see the alien empire brought to its knees. Derek had learned the hard way that survival meant adapting. He couldn't just fight like a soldier anymore. The alien empire was far too powerful. He needed to think differently. Using every bit of knowledge he had from his years as a soldier, he became something else, a rogue fighter, a ghost in the system. He no longer followed the rules, no longer played by their game. He became a weapon, a shadow, striking fear into the heart of the alien empire. He knew it wasn't going to be easy. The aliens had already crushed entire species, and they were stronger, faster, and smarter than humans. But Derek didn't care. He wasn't fighting to survive. He was fighting to show them that humans weren't so easily wiped out, that no matter how much they took from him, he would keep coming back. The Empire thought they could control everything. They thought they could break humanity, make them bow down, but Derek was about to prove them wrong. He worked alone at first. He had no allies, no friends left to trust. The galaxy was a cold place now, filled with desperate survivors and alien overlords who cared only for control. Derek didn't trust anyone, and he didn't need anyone. He was a lone wolf, taking down alien patrols, raiding supply ships, and sabotaging military bases. Every mission was personal. Every victory a small taste of revenge for the pain they had caused him. The aliens called him a ghost, a mysterious figure who seemed to appear out of nowhere. The damage he caused was always devastating, but no one could track him, no one could catch him. Derek had become a legend, a nightmare that haunted the alien empire's leaders. He didn't care if they hunted him down. He was bringing the fight to them. As Derek's attacks grew bolder. The alien empire's power wasn't unbreakable. They weren't as invincible as they thought. Their military tactics were sharp, but they weren't perfect. And Derek had learned how to exploit their weaknesses. He'd studied their movements, their supply lines, their weapons. He knew what made them tick, and he used that knowledge against them. But there was something more, something deeper driving him. It wasn't just revenge anymore. It wasn't even about striking back against the alien empire. Derek was starting to see the bigger picture. He realized that the empire had taken everything from humanity. The alien invaders hadn't just conquered Earth, they had tried to wipe out an entire species, to erase the very existence of humans from the galaxy. And that couldn't stand. His attacks became more than just random acts of destruction. They were a message. A declaration that humanity wasn't done. That humanity had more to offer than just death and destruction. Derek was fighting not just for revenge, but for something greater. For the survival of humanity, for the future, his species. He knew the road ahead would be long and dangerous. He would face challenges far worse than he'd ever encountered before. But Derek didn't care. He wasn't looking for an easy fight. He didn't care if it meant sacrificing everything. He had already lost everything. And now, the alien empire would feel the weight of that loss. They would soon learn that they had made a huge mistake by underestimating humanity. Derek wasn't just fighting to survive. He was fighting to make sure the aliens never controlled the galaxy again. He would be the last thing they would ever underestimate. And if they thought they could break him, they were about to learn what it meant to face a man with nothing left to lose. This version maintains a simple, engaging style and highlights Derek's transformation from a broken man to a powerful symbol of resistance, making it exciting while keeping the language accessible. Let me know if you need any more changes. Derek's attacks against the alien empire had become more daring, more intense. Each victory fueled his drive, and with every battle, his name spread across the galaxy like wildfire. He wasn't just another rebel. He had become a symbol, a reminder to the aliens that humans weren't easily defeated. But Derek knew that these small victories weren't enough. The alien empire was too vast, too powerful. No matter how many patrols he destroyed or supply ships he hijacked, he couldn't take them down alone. Something bigger, something more powerful, was needed to stand a chance against the Empire. It was during one of his most dangerous missions that Derek stumbled upon something that could change everything. The mission had started, like so many others, an isolated outpost controlled by the aliens, deep in the uncharted sectors of the galaxy. Derek's plan was simple: infiltrate, destroy the facility, and disappear before the aliens could retaliate. But when he made his way into the heart of the outpost, he found something completely unexpected. Hidden in a forgotten corner of the base was a room, sealed off from the rest of the facility. The room was ancient, covered in dust, forgotten by time. Inside, Derek discovered something that no one, not even the aliens, had known about. A weapon, an enormous, mysterious device lying dormant, waiting to be uncovered. At first, Derek thought it was just another piece of alien technology. But as he examined it more closely, he realized the truth. This was no alien weapon. This was human. Built by humans, long before the alien empire had even set foot in the galaxy. It was clear that it was something powerful, something that could destroy entire star systems with ease. For a moment, Derek stood frozen in awe. He had always known humanity had once been a great power, but he had never imagined that something like this existed, something capable of turning the tide of war in a single blow. The more Derek studied the weapon, the more questions he had. Why had it been hidden away like this? Why hadn't humanity used it to fight back against the aliens all those years ago? And perhaps most importantly, why had it been forgotten? As he dug deeper into the facility's records, Derek uncovered a shocking truth. This weapon wasn't just any military tool. It was part of a larger secret, a secret about humanity's fall to the alien empire. Centuries before the invasion, humanity had built this weapon to defend itself, but something had gone wrong. The weapon had been sealed away, and the history surrounding its creation was buried in the past. It was no longer just about fighting the aliens. It was about understanding why humanity had been so easily defeated in the first place. Derek knew that unlocking the weapon's full potential could give him the power to destroy the alien empire once and for all. With one strike, he could wipe them from existence. He had what he needed to take control of the galaxy and make sure humanity never again fell under the rule of the aliens. But as the weapon's secrets began to unfold, Derek realized the stakes were higher than he had imagined. The weapon's power wasn't just destructive, it was dangerous. There was a cost. If used recklessly, it could tear apart entire worlds, burn entire star systems, and cause a chain reaction that might lead to the galaxy's destruction. Derek wasn't sure if even he could control it. The more Derek thought about it, the more torn he became. Should he use the weapon to end the alien empire's reign? It would be so easy, he thought. One blow, and the aliens would be gone forever. The galaxy would be free. But he wasn't sure if that was the right path. There was more to this weapon than just its power. It was part of humanity's dark past. Could using it bring about a future where humans could finally rise again? Or would it destroy everything they had left? Derek's mind raced. He knew he couldn't make this decision alone. He would need help, someone who could help him understand the full implications of the weapon's power. But finding someone he could trust was no easy task. The galaxy was full of enemies, and even the resistance movements had their own agendas. Derek was no stranger to betrayal, and he wasn't sure if he could risk sharing the weapon's secret with anyone. Time was running out. The alien empire was closing in on him, and they had already begun searching for any signs of his rebel activities. The clock was ticking, and Derek knew that the longer he waited, the harder it would be to stop them. But every moment that passed made him more certain that he couldn't use the weapon without understanding it fully. Derek faced a tough decision. Should he unleash the weapon and risk total destruction, or should he take the time to understand its true power and find another way to free the galaxy? There were no easy answers. Every path seemed to lead to destruction. As he stood before the weapon, Derek couldn't shake the feeling that the fate of the entire galaxy rested in his hands. The aliens might have been the ones who attacked first, but now it was Derek who would determine their future. The weapon could be the key to their destruction, or it could be the beginning of a new era for humanity. It all depended on what he chose to do next. As Derek Stone continued his campaign against the alien empire, he realized that his lone wolf approach wasn't enough anymore. The alien empire was vast, and no matter how many small victories he won, he couldn't bring them down by himself. He needed help. He needed allies. The first group of rebels he met were a ragtag band of alien species, all united by a common enemy, the alien empire. The resistance was growing, and Derek's reputation had spread throughout the galaxy. He became a leader of sorts, a rallying point for those who refused to bow down to the empire's rule. Together, they would strike at the heart of the alien overlords. The plan was simple, yet ambitious: a coordinated attack on the empire's main military base, a place where they controlled their warships and weapons of mass destruction. It was the perfect opportunity to cripple the empire's ability to strike back. If they succeeded, it would be a blow that could change the course of the war. The only problem was that the base was heavily guarded, nearly impenetrable. To carry out the plan, Derek would need to trust his new allies' alien species that had suffered under the empire's cruel rule. Some were warriors, some were scientists, and some were former soldiers just like Derek. Each had their own reasons for wanting to see the empire fall. Together, they formed a bond, a loose coalition that grew stronger with each battle. But Derek knew that the true test would come when they had to work together to execute the strike. The tension within the resistance was palpable. As Derek worked alongside the various factions, he began to notice something unsettling. Not everyone in the group was as trustworthy as they seemed. Some of his allies were too eager, too ambitious. Some wanted revenge just as badly as he did, but others seemed to have their own motives for joining the resistance. Derek couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the alliance than met the eye. It wasn't long before Derek uncovered the truth. Some of his new allies were planning to use the weapon, the ancient human weapon Derek had discovered, to achieve their own goals. The weapon had become the key to winning the war, and some of the rebels believed that whoever controlled it would hold the power to rule the galaxy. For some, it wasn't just about defeating the alien empire. It was about seizing power for themselves. One of his closest allies, a highly respected alien general named Vara, was among those who had begun to show a dangerous interest in the weapon. She had been with the resistance from the beginning, and Derek had trusted her completely. But now, he found himself questioning everything about her motives. Was she truly fighting for freedom, or was she just using the rebellion as a stepping stone to her own rise to power? Derek faced a difficult choice. Could he trust anyone in this new war? The very people he fought beside might be plotting behind his back. He had always fought for revenge, but now the stakes were higher. It wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about protecting the galaxy from falling into even worse hands. Derek had to learn to navigate the dangerous waters of the resistance, balancing trust and suspicion with every decision he made. As the plan for the attack on the Empire's military base took shape, Derek grew increasingly uncertain. Could he still trust the resistance to carry out the mission without trying to take control for themselves? Could he continue fighting with his anger and thirst for revenge, or would that lead him down a path of destruction for everyone? Tensions in the group came to a boiling point as the day of the strike approached. Vera made her move, trying to convince Derek that using the weapon to destroy the Empire would be the only way to guarantee their victory. But Derek wasn't so sure. The weapon was dangerous. It could destroy entire worlds, and once used, there might be no turning back. Was it worth the risk of destroying everything just to win? Derek found himself torn between two worlds. The desire for revenge still burned inside him, but now he understood the consequences of unchecked anger. If he let his hatred of the aliens control him, he could destroy everything he had fought for. He had to focus on the bigger picture, not just the battles. The fate of the galaxy wasn't going to be decided by a single battle, it would be decided by the choices he made and how he chose to lead. The night before the strike, Derek confronted Vara. He demanded the truth. What were her real plans for the weapon? She didn't deny it. In fact, she was open about her intentions. She believed that the only way to bring peace to the galaxy was for someone strong to take control, and she was willing to be that leader. She tried to convince Derek that it was for the greater good, but Derek wasn't so sure. He had seen enough of power-hungry leaders to know that once someone started down that path, there was no turning back. In the end, Derek made a choice. He couldn't let his anger or anyone else's decide the future of the galaxy. He would use the weapon, but only to destroy the alien empire, not to seize power for himself or anyone else. The galaxy needed true freedom, not a new empire. The final strike was set into motion, but Derek knew that the cost of victory would be high. He couldn't change the past, and the galaxy would never be the same. But by making the right choices, by staying true to his mission and his people, he could pave the way for a better future. The galaxy was on the brink of destruction. After countless battles, unexpected alliances, and sacrifices, Derek Stone had finally reached the most critical moment of his mission. The alien empire's heart was now within reach, their homeworld, the epicenter of their power, where the leaders of the empire resided. This was it, the final battle. Derek and his ragtag group of allies had one shot to end the war once and for all. The plan was simple: launch a full-scale assault on the alien homeworld, strike hard and fast, and cripple the Empire's leadership. If they succeeded, the alien empire would crumble and the galaxy would be free. Derek had gathered his most trusted allies for this mission, alien species from across the galaxy who had fought alongside him since the beginning. Their goal was clear: destroy the Empire, free the enslaved, and rebuild what had been lost. As they neared the homeworld, the reality of the mission set in. The stakes were higher than ever. The alien forces were waiting for them, prepared for an attack they knew was coming. This would not be easy. But Derek was ready. His thirst for revenge had driven him this far, and now he could finally finish what he had started. However, things didn't go as planned. As Derek and his allies prepared to assault the capital, something strange happened. A message was intercepted from the heart of the alien empire, a message meant for Derek alone. It wasn't a threat or a warning. It was an invitation. The voice on the other end of the transmission was familiar, but not one Derek had expected to hear. It was a voice he thought was long gone, a voice he hadn't heard since the invasion began. The voice was human. Derek's heart skipped a beat. The message came from none other than General Rook, a man Derek had once trusted, a former ally who had disappeared during the early days of the war. He had been thought to be killed in action, but now it was clear he had somehow risen through the ranks of the alien empire, becoming one of their most powerful leaders. But that wasn't all. The more Derek listened, the more he realized the truth. The leaders of the alien empire were humans. First, Derek couldn't believe it. How could this be? The empire that had destroyed Earth and enslaved humanity, led by humans? He had spent so long hating the aliens, blaming them for everything that had happened. But the real enemy had been hiding in plain sight all along. The alien overlords were not invaders, they were humans, corrupted by power, greed, and ambition. They had betrayed their own species, turning against humanity and siding with the alien invaders. The revelation hit Derek like a punch to the gut. The war he had been fighting, the mission that had consumed him for so long, was based on a lie. His real enemy was not the alien race, it was his own people, those who had turned against humanity for their own selfish reasons. With this new knowledge, the stakes of the final battle grew even higher. Derek knew that if he was going to defeat the Empire, he would have to confront the people who had once been his own kind. But how could he strike at his own species? How could he destroy the very leaders who had turned against everything they had once fought for? As the battle for the alien homeworld began, Derek's mind was in turmoil. The plan had been to storm the planet, destroy the alien leaders, and cripple the Empire. But now, everything had changed. Should he continue the attack? Should he still fight to destroy the Empire? Or was there another way to end the war without wiping out the remnants of humanity? The battle raged on, and Derek found himself at the heart of the conflict, torn between two impossible choices. His allies pushed forward, unaware of the shocking truth he had just discovered. They were fighting for freedom, for survival, just as he had been. But Derek knew now that freedom wasn't just about defeating the alien empire. It was about saving what was left of humanity. Asa, the fighting intensified. Derek found himself face to face with General Rook. The man who had once been his mentor now stood before him, a twisted version of the leader he had once respected. Rook smiled coldly, his eyes filled with arrogance and malice. "You've come this far, Derek," Rook said, his voice filled with mockery. "But you're too late. The galaxy is ours. You can't stop what's already been set in motion." Derek's mind raced. He had come all this way to seek revenge, to destroy the Empire. But now, standing before the man who had once been a hero, he realized that victory might come at a cost he wasn't ready to pay. The final decision lay with him. Should he use the ancient weapon, the one that could wipe out the Empire completely? Should he destroy the alien forces and their human leaders, or was there another way? Could he save what was left of humanity, even if it meant sacrificing everything he had fought for? In the heat of the battle, Derek knew that the fate of the galaxy was now in his hands. His final choice would determine everything. The weapon's power was immense, but so were the consequences of its use. If Derek used it, he could end the war once and for all, but it might cost the galaxy more than just lives. It could cost them hope. The battle continued to rage around him, but Derek's decision had already been made. He couldn't let the cycle of power and greed continue. He couldn't destroy everything he had been fighting for. With the final strike, Derek chose a path of redemption. He would defeat the alien empire, but not with a weapon of destruction. He would use his victory to rebuild, to restore what had been lost, and to ensure that the galaxy could never fall into the same hands again. But victory, Derek knew, would come at a price. He might lose everything he had fought for. And yet, in the end, he would have to let go of his anger and his past to build a better future for all.